26th of January 2023, we are going to run our second MND fundraiser lunch, with half the money going to the My Name's Doddy Foundation and the other half going to the Rob Burrow Centre in Leeds. So in order to kick it all off, I thought I'd try and interview probably the biggest legend, modern day legend of the rugby league game. And here he is, Jamie Peacock. How you doing?
I'm good, Paul. Yeah, really good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the dinner myself as well. I think it's going to be great. You know, it's going to be the first kind of big event for myself in January, and just two amazing causes, right? For two, you know, really inspirational people, are they? You know, Doddy and also Rob. I think, you know, when you think you're going through a poor time, bad time stuff, you only need to look at them and how to handle difficult and trying situations.
Yeah, no, it's every time you sort of see it and hear about it, it becomes more and more humbling. Before we get into that, I can't list off everything you've achieved in your career, because it would take about 3 hours. But you know, what was it? 9 grand final wins.
Yeah. I was managed to obviously I had great success with the Bradford Bulls. You know, winning 3 grand finals there, which I just thought, when I left the Bradford Bulls, when I moved to Leeds, I thought if I get anywhere near, you know, winning 3 grand finals in my time at the Leeds Rhinos, that will be success, I think, for myself. But then to kind of double that at the Rhinos and finish with 9 grand final wins, it's special to look back upon. And you know, in team sports, you can't win without having a great team around you. And I'm fortunate to be in the right place at the right time with both clubs. You know, you contribute obviously as an individual, but it's the collective that gets you across the line. But yeah, it's a record, you know, I'm proud of, and I'm proud of being involved in those 2 winning teams.
Sure. And 2015 was a special year as well, right? With the treble.
Yeah, I mean, 2015, I think at the beginning of the year, myself, Kevin and Kylie Luluai, we're all chatting about retirement, and we all kind of made our minds up, you know, this was going to be our last year. And you kind of, you know, in your last year, you hope to get some success. You want to have some success in your last year, which meant, you know, success would have been winning the grand final for me. I think, you know, winning the grand final, I'd have loved to have taken that, because that's the last game of the year. That's the last game I'll ever wear the Rhinos shirt. But then, you know, to knock off the treble and to do it in the way that we did under a heap of adversity, it wasn't plain sailing, was just such a huge effort from everybody within the club, you know, from all the players, all the coaching staff, people behind the scenes as well. It was a force of nature. We had a critical mass of people who wanted, you know, to nail the treble, and we did it. You know, quite often in sport, you don't have fairy tale endings, right? They don't always finish in fairy tale endings, and we were lucky enough to get that one, the 3 of us, but that's down to the commitment and effort from everybody around us.
And Rob, of course, was a big part of that as well.
Yeah, Rob was huge. You know, Rob was an incredible player. Certainly one of the top 10 players, you'd say, within Super League in the last 20 or 30 years. Rob would be, and I think, you know, probably what elevates how good he was just his size, you know, and the courage he had. There's been lots of small players, but there's been very few, you know, who have been as courageous as Rob, and he's taken that characteristic into his battle with MND. He had some great physical attributes. I know he was small, but he had an unbelievable turn of pace, and also the ability to, you know, laterally move while keeping this pace as well. But as I've always said, it's no good having that pace unless you've got the heart and bravery to run in between 2 blokes who are 18 stone and want to knock your head off. And Rob consistently did that time and time again, and that's what made him the player he is.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk to Barry, actually, the opposite is true as well, isn't it? He frightened the hell out of us fat boys, because he could just run around us.
Yeah. I mean, you know, in one final, 2003, where I was at the Bradford Bulls, and we were playing the Leeds Rhinos in the Challenge Cup final, and just on that point there, we knew Rob would make a huge difference against us. You know, energy sapping final, we had a massive pack back then. You know, every bloke was 18, 19, 20 stone. And about 5 minutes into his stint on the pitch, Rob got knocked out, and I thought to myself, you know, I felt sorry for him getting knocked out, right? But I thought to myself, that's a big plus for us today, that he's not going to be on the pitch terrorising, which is the right word, terrorising our big forwards when they get a little bit tired. And I know for a fact, you know, himself going off the pitch and not being out of return was a big factor in us winning that day, the Bulls.
Absolutely. So you've taken all of that incredible success, and we'll talk about Great Britain or England as well when we talk about the World Cup in a minute. But you've taken all of that incredible success, all of that winning mentality into another career now. Talk to us a bit more about what you're doing now.
Yeah, so we all know that it's difficult to finish playing professional sport. You probably get to the pinnacle of your career and get as good as you can get at doing something, and then you no longer be able to do it. Where the rest of the society spends 20 years doing that, doesn't it? When they've almost mastered their chosen profession. So yeah, for me, the transition's been okay. It's been I'm fortunate. I've moved into like leadership coaching, delivering leadership sessions, and just delivering motivational talks and well-being through the lessons that sport and rugby league has taught me. So I feel very lucky, certainly to be a professional rugby league player, but then to have a career afterwards based on what made me successful as an individual, but also as a captain as well for my country. And so feel pleasured. Feel grateful to be in that position now, and I'm loving it. I really enjoy meeting new people, helping new people develop. So I think I've done well to move from something I did love doing to find something else that I love doing too as well, Paul.
JP's very kindly offered an auction prize of a session with him. So on the day, make sure you bring your credit cards, please, everybody. So we met through our mutual friend Brian Redpath. We were at Headingley actually when Leeds beat Wigan, and let's hope as we speak now, let's hope that happens again tonight. So when I may have had one or two Vimtos when I spoke to you. What was it I said to you that convinced you to come to the lunch?
It might have been more than one or two, Paul. But, yeah, I mean, it didn't take much convincing to come. I just think, just the cause, the money we're raising, the charities we're raising money for, two incredible people, two hugely inspirational people. And this money needs to go towards finding a cure, right? These are Doddy Weir and Rob Burrows become the figurehead for MND, and they're leading the charge for thousands of people out there who are suffering from this cruel disease that has no cure. And for when you said, yeah, come down, we'll have a great day. We'll talk rugby union and rugby league, bring both codes together. Just a no-brainer to come down and be part of it, Paul. So I'm really looking forward to the day. I think it's going to be an outstanding day. Some great speakers on there, and just a day when you know you're doing good, right? We all have our lives and that, we all got things going on, but I think days like that are great because you have a good time while also doing some good and bringing some good to some other people who are struggling in their lives. So I think what's not to like about that?
100%. And I think my enduring memory from last year was exactly that. There was a few tears, there was a lot of humility, but actually there was a lot of laughs and a lot of love in the room as well. And actually on the back of it, some new friendships have been made, some new professional friendships have been made too. So yeah, really appreciate you coming down. I know you lads in the north don't like making the trip outside of Yorkshire or Lancashire. It feels uncomfortable for you, right?
Yeah, I'm all right with it, mate. But I know most lads get a nosebleed if they go past Watford Gap. But I'm all right, mate. I don't mind a trip down London and meet a few different people. I love it. In fact, it's great to meet a few different people.
So, as an ex-Great Britain captain, obviously we're just about to embark on the World Cup, and I think what's wonderful about the World Cup is it's the men's, women's, and wheelchair tournament all at the same time, which is extraordinary. What's your sense about what the England team can do?
Yeah, just firstly, you've nailed it there, Paul. That's one of the great things about this World Cup coming up. The great aspects of it is just how inclusive it's going to be, and that all these games are going to be shown across the BBC. Given 20 years ago, it's just been the men's competition being shown, but it's all levels, all abilities is going to be shown. We're going to see the best of all of that, which I just think is just brilliant. The way we're dealing with our sport is outstanding. As for England, look, I think that for me, I think the first game for them could be a benchmark. They've got to play Samoa at Newcastle. Should be a sold-out crowd. Will be an unbelievable occasion. But they've got to get to grips with this Samoan team. I think the Samoan team, they've got some great players in there, players who could play for Australia, who've decided to play for the Samoa instead. And this is a game where I'm sure Sean Wayne and the players are ready for it, that they can't get ambushed in. It's going to be physical. It's going to be intense. and it's going to be one of the toughest games they've ever played in their lives, these players. So they just need to get ready for that. And I think if we can win that game, we'll get confidence, and we could go a long way in the tournament. We could push through to semi-finals and finals. Then, for me, it's who are the favourites in there? Look, you've got Australians as favourites. I would say, look, the Australians are always going to have a great team. But, in this team they've got at the moment, I don't see any immortals in there. In the last kind of 10 years we've had Australian teams which I probably think 5 or 6 immortals in the future, like a Cam Smith, a Billy Slater, Greg Inglis, Darren Lockyer, Jonathan Thurston, Cooper Cronk, huge names. And at the moment, they've got some names and players coming through, like a Cameron Munster, James Tedesco. They're going to be great players for people to watch. But I think, for me, the favourites are New Zealand. I think New Zealand could be the team to go on and win it. I know that Michael Maguire is a fired-up coach. And then I think they've just got some great players, some great athletes as well. I think they could be, for me, they're just the slight favourites in front of Australia. And then just behind that, I think you've got Tonga and England, who on the day can beat any of those teams, but they need to dig in and find those just once in a lifetime performances. And that's what World Cups are won on sometimes, aren't they? Once in a lifetime performances, beat the favourites. And we've seen it time and time again in World Cups that underdogs can win and can do it. So I'm hoping England can do it. It's just such a huge boost for the game over here. It'd be massive.
Absolutely, and let's hope home advantage plays its part. As we speak, the Rhinos take on the Warriors tonight. I think it's fair to say, beginning of the season, Leeds would have been happy to be in Super League, let alone in a grand final, semi-final. It looks pretty well. I saw on LinkedIn yesterday, I think it was 52-48 the votes for Rhinos to go through to their grand final. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I would put it at that. I think it's a coin toss of a game. Leeds are in great form. They've got belief, they've got confidence, and I think they've got momentum off the back of the performance against Catalans. I thought they were clinical, they were in control, and they just executed a great game plan. Wigan, a great side, great playoff side. How they've played under Matty Peake this year has been a revelation. I think he's been a wonderful coach for them. They've won the Challenge Cup already. They're at home. I just think it could be one of the games of the year. One of the games of the year so far in Super League, and I believe the winner of that game will win the grand final. That's when I'm putting that.
Wow.
And I think it could be either side could win it. I think it's a real close call. Obviously, I'm wanting the Rhinos to win. Leeds Rhinos through and through. But Wigan are a great side. I would have had Wigan more of favourites if Liam Farrell would have been playing. I think Liam Farrell's huge for that team. I just think the leadership and consistency and in terms of excellence performance that it brings, they'll miss and they can't replace it. I think Wigan sounds to me like they've got a great game plan. They know what they're doing and they've got a good work ethic. Leeds feel the same. It's going to be a hell of a clash tonight. I can't wait to watch that.
And Saint Salford?
Yeah, now Saints, what side they've been over the last 3 years. They've been the benchmark of excellence in Super League and deserve all the plaudits that they get. But in the last kind of 8 to 10 weeks, they're beginning to look a little bit like the heavyweight boxer who's maybe had one fight too many, as they go towards the championship rounds, 8 rounds, 9, 10, 11, 12. But they've got that winning mentality, and they're up against a Salford team who are on a hell of a run of form. And I think if Salford would have had Brodie Croft playing, then I would have had them down to win that game. Saints missing Alex Walmsley is huge. And I just think, again, this one's really close game to call. They've got some champions in the side, some wonderful players of Saints. The question is, have they got enough gas, energy and desire to make it through to the grand final? They've got two hell of an effort to come up with if they want to become, the 4th-time champion. But what team they've been over the last 3 years.
I should imagine Wolfie will be not wanting to go back to Australia with a semi-final loss. So that might be a bit of a difference as well.
Yeah, that will be. He's a great individual. I think he's really added to this competition. And I wish him the best of luck in his future career. You can tell he's such a good coach, how he's improved the Tongan performances. He's kept Saints as the benchmark of excellence in Super League. Great coach, and he's going to get his opportunity in a couple of years' time in the NRL. I'm sure be a success down there.
100%. So I think everybody is going to look forward to meeting you and look forward to listening to you in the 26th of January and getting an opportunity to maybe have another Vimto. The only challenge, of course, is the only problem, of course, is that we've just made all these predictions and we will know the results by the time this video interview goes out. So either your credibility will be sky high, JP, or it might have taken a little dent.
Well, I don't even know I had any credibility, so I've not much to lose. So we'll see what happens.
Mate, really appreciate it. Really appreciate you coming down. Thank you for the offer for the auction to spend some time with you. There's some big companies coming along to the event that I'm sure are going to want to take advantage of that. For now, thanks ever so much, mate, and we'll speak soon.
Cheers, Paul. Really looking forward to the event as well. And if you're not there, make sure you get there. We're in for a great time.
Brilliant. Thanks, pal.